Hi everyone, welcome to the second to last episode of Life in Lockdown as we start to wrap this series up. Today I am with the lovely Melissa Tagg. Many of you will know her for her small town contemporary romances, most recently set in Maple Valley. So welcome Melissa, thanks for joining me.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Now, this kind of series started when I was in New Zealand, locked down under our COVID restrictions. So I decided that I would talk to a whole bunch of other authors about what their lockdown life was like as well. So can you tell people a little bit about where you live, what your restrictions have been like, whether they're kind of easing at the moment, and what the biggest difference has been for your day-to-day life?
Sure. So I live in Iowa. I live in a small town in Iowa. It's actually my hometown. Some things about my hometown are the basis for Maple Valley, so I like to pretend that I live in Maple Valley. But anyway, in Iowa, we never had a full shelter-in-place order, but yet our governor closed most things. So it was basically the same as shelter-in-place. So for the past past couple months, I guess, I haven't really gone anywhere. I've been at home a whole lot, like a lot of people. I made a great big mistake back in March in that I also took a week off work from my day job right before the pandemic to write for a week. And whenever I do that, I hole up and I play hermit and I don't see anybody. And on the last day of it, I get really excited to go back out into the real world. This time on the last day of it, that's when I found out I wouldn't be going back to my office and I'd be staying back at home. So as far as how my day-to-day life has been different, I usually work from home for my day job 3 days a week and go to the office 2 days. So my biggest change really was just not going to the office for those 2 days. I'm really grateful to have an awesome job where I could work from home, and I already had the setup in place, but I also didn't realize how much I count on those 2 days of like seeing people and being a part of the team and getting out. So I've definitely missed that. And I will look forward to getting back to it someday. Things in Iowa are easing right now. Different things are opening back up. We're kind of doing a slow reopening. But I don't foresee returning to my office anytime too soon. So yeah, it's been a lot of home time.
Yeah. I think everyone spent more time in their homes the last few months than they ever imagined that they would be. So let's talk a little bit about writing, because we met back in 2012 when you had just signed your contract with Bethany House for your first book, Made to Last, and I was pitching around for an agent at the ACFW conference. So first of all, I would like to talk about heroes, because I remember when Like Never Before came in 2016 and there was a lot of talk about how Logan Walker was your favorite hero ever. He's also starred, I believe, in washing machine advertising and
yes.
other things. You've had a few books since Logan Walker, so can we talk about your heroes? And I mean, I know you're not supposed to pick favorite heroes like you're not supposed to pick favorite children, but is he still your favorite, or have you moved on since?
He is probably still my favorite. The thing is, when you're like deep into writing a book, I think it's really easy for that character to become your favorite. So when I was writing Now and Then and Always last year, I was like, oh my goodness, what if I like Marshall more than Logan? And now I'm writing a different book and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what if I like Lucas more than Logan? But I think Logan is still the standard for me. And I'll tell you what it is that makes me love him so much. My previous heroes, especially a couple of them, Colton in From the Start and Blaze in Here to Stay, they were alpha heroes. They were your typical, like, kind of flirty and confident and just, I don't know, like all American heroes, whereas Logan was quiet and sensitive and sad and kind of melancholy, and he just, I don't know, I just loved him so much. And then his kind of one of his big grand gestures in the book is to interlibrary loan a book for a girl. that he loves. So any guy who would think to interlibrary loan a book for somebody is just like knows the way to my heart. So
That is
he's
true.
probably still my favorite. The guy I'm writing now is very secretive and fun, but yeah, I don't think anybody's ever going to all the way replace Logan. And then that cover, like when the publisher sent me that cover and I saw that guy, it was like down to the crinkles in the corners of his eyes. He was exactly what was in my head. So I was like, what the heck? This is really weird. So yeah, I love him a little too much, a little irrational.
And then that, in a way, inspired a novella, didn't it?
Yeah.
Your
It's
love
true.
for your
I
model.
loved that guy so much that then I wrote a novella about an author who falls in love with her cover model, only then she ends up falling in love with somebody else. But yeah, that inspired the novella. And one of my amazing readers figured out who that cover model is. Like she found his name, she found his Facebook page. He lived in like, is it the Czech Republic? He lives somewhere in Eastern Europe, so
wow,
very far out of my reach, sadly. But
I thought you were about
but
to
at
tell
least I know his name.
I thought you were about to say he was in her hometown and she stalked him and took paparazzi shots for you.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be next level reader commitment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about publishing, because you've
Sure.
been both traditionally published with Bethany House. Was it 3 or 4 books that you had with them?
4. Well, 5, I guess, if you count a novella.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And then you made the decision to go indie
Yeah.
publishing, like many authors have. So let's talk a little bit about what's your favorite part of being indie published and what was your favorite part about being traditionally published?
Sure. Well, being traditionally published, probably one of my favorite parts was the initial phone call, finding out that book contract was going to happen. It was just such a dream come true. And Bethany House is a dream publisher for me. I mean, I remember thinking to myself, there's no way I'll end up with a Bethany House. Like, they're just so incredible. So my experience with them was incredibly positive. I think, yeah, probably a favorite part was just the people that I worked with there. My acquisitions editor was just absolutely fun. We still email each other today about like our favorite TV shows. And then my content editor was incredible. And I still work with her on my indie books today. So just those relationships and the support was fantastic. My favorite part of indie publishing, well, I've got several favorite parts. One favorite part is I'm making more money, which is horrible to say. Maybe we should, I don't know if we can cut that out. But I like not having deadlines. That's it was hard to be under deadline. I have a full-time job and I have a life outside of writing, and I really struggled in a big way when I was under deadlines. So I love that now if it's a Saturday and I was planning to write, but my sister calls and says, do you want to go to a sunflower festival with me? Back when we had festivals and got together and did things like that. I love that I can now just say yes, and I'll write another time and I'll write later. And then I also really enjoy getting to pick out my own covers, and I don't know, there's some fun things, but there's challenges with it too. So both traditional and indie have great pros, and both of them have great cons. And yeah, I think each author has to figure out what works for them. But I'm really thankful for indie publishing because I feel like it was a gateway from God to make it possible for me to keep doing what I love to do, but in a way that actually works for me in the season of life that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not all about the money, and I shouldn't have even said that, but yeah.
No, but it's a good thing. Being able to earn money and spend money, especially at the moment in local economies that need all the help they can get, is always a good thing. And I mean, especially for people like me who, I've got 3 kids and I have a family, the fact that my writing supports itself plus a little bit more, is a really good thing. Otherwise, if for us writing was just a money hole and I just spent and I didn't earn, then I probably wouldn't be able to do it. And I'm the same as you, like being able to set my own schedule So Start With Me, which releases at the end of June, originally I had slated it for the end of March. And then I hit kind of mid-February and I was like, nah, it's not going to be ready. This is not going to happen by the end of March. And I could just go, all right, well, I just push it out 3 months. And, you know, you're not letting down a whole team of people behind you and a whole company who have planned for the last 18 months that this is when your book is going to be coming out. So.
Yeah, I remember one of my Bethany House books, I had to ask for an extension at one point on it. And it was just a month-long extension. It wasn't horrible. They were so gracious and wonderful to me about it. But I just remember feeling like horrible about it and feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm the author that can't keep her commitment. And I just feeling horrible. Whereas one of my indie books a couple of years ago, kind of same thing as you, I had said I was going to release it 1 month and then I needed to push it a couple months back. And like, it was fine. It was not a big deal at all. So it is wonderful to have that flexibility.
So what are you working on at the moment?
Sorry, I'm working on the second book in the Maple Valley series. It's called Some Bright Someday. It's about a character who actually first appeared in one of the Walker books. He was in the third Walker book. And the heroine is somebody who was in the second Walker book, so Like Never Before. And both of them I just kind of knew as they appeared on the page. They were both slightly antagonistic on the page in those books, but I knew there was more to their stories. So
I was just looking to see if I've got those books behind me, but I think
they're
I can't quite casually reach them and get them out. It'll require me getting off my seat and crawling on the floor on the bottom shelf.
But anyway, yeah, I'm working on that book. So one of these days I'll finish it. We'll see.
And some days, is it Someday, Some Bright? Is that what you said the title is?
Some Bright Someday.
Some Bright Someday. How did you come up with that title?
I don't know. I really don't know. I was sitting around. I'm really bad at titles and had no clue what I was going to call this one. But, well, actually, I do kind of know. So I'm obsessed with a band called Need to Breathe. They're like heaven on earth. I love them so much. The lead singer, sorry, this is going to get too long, but the lead singer released a solo album a little while ago called Wilder Woods. And on that album, there was a song called Someday Soon. And I became obsessed with that song. It's gorgeous. And so for a while, I was thinking of calling it Someday Soon. And then for whatever reason that I changed my mind on that, but I needed someday in the title because I was obsessed with that song. So somehow I got from Someday Soon to Some Bright Someday. And I told exactly one author friend, I told Courtney Walsh what I was thinking. Like, I love that title. So that was enough for me. I decided that was the title.
Very cool. And that's one of the great things about being indie is you just decide.
Yeah, you just decide.
You just decide. You're like, that's it.
Yeah, when you're with a publisher, a lot of times it'll go to the marketing team and they kind of want to figure out if there's the right keywords in it, and which is great too. I mean, it's good to have logic and marketing behind your decisions, but it's also pretty fun to have whim behind your decisions.
Yeah, with my first book, Close to You, I got sent a list of, I think it was 3 or 4 potential titles, and there was 2 where I was like, no, that can't happen. Like, one of them was Kiss Me Breathless, and I was like, that's gonna sound kind of like there's content in there that I don't write. So
you might have ended up with some sales from people that were not looking for Christian fiction.
I might have ended up with some disappointed readers.
Right.
But so I'm the same. Like, titles are not my gig. And right now I am losing my mind because the book that I'm going to start writing next, I was falling asleep one night, and as I was falling asleep, I came up with the title. And I thought to myself, I should wake up and write this down. Then I repeated it to myself 3 times, and I thought, no, that'll be enough. Now I'll remember it. Cannot remember it. Cannot remember a single word except that it was awesome.
No. Oh, that's a bummer. I do the same thing where I'm like, oh, I'll remember it. I'll just repeat it. So now you're making me be like, Melissa, don't trust your memory.
You know,
Push it out when you're in bed.
not if you're definitely not if you're falling asleep. Maybe
Oh, well,
one
I
day
hope it
it'll
comes
come
back
back,
to you.
but I really hope it does because I remember really, really loving it, and I really wish I'd woken up and written it down. So I always finish up with two questions, which is, what do you miss the most right now, and what is keeping you sane right now?
Okay. What I miss the most is like, as I think about it, I'm like, whatever answer I give is going to be lame compared to people that I know that are actually really making sacrifices right now. But I just miss the freedom to go out and go to my office and go to Target and go to church and see people and hug people. And I'm not even a big hugger, but like, so if I'm missing hugging people, like that's a big deal. I just miss not having to think ahead. Like, I used to be able to just go to Target and wander around, and now I need to be like, what do I need, and order it online. So I'm kind of tired of that, I guess. You know what else I miss? Diet Coke ginger lime flavored. I can't find it anywhere. I think the pandemic has ruined it.
We don't
So
have that in New Zealand. That has never made it to us.
too. But, oh, it's so good. I'm obsessed with it, but you can't find it anywhere right now. I think it's the pandemic. But yeah, I miss people. I miss getting out and about. What's keeping me sane? Great books. I've read some amazing books lately.
I'll go on.
And I will tell you some of them just because I want to gush about them.
Please do.
Amanda Dykes has a new book coming out soon.
Ooh.
It's called Set the Stars Alight, and I just read a NetGalley copy over the weekend, and it was amazing. I feel like I say that about a lot of books, but this one, it's like next level amazing. And that's how I felt about her debut novel last year too. It was my favorite book of the year. So it was
that cover is gorgeous. Like, I just remember seeing that cover when it came out and being like, oh, they just yeah, it's stunning.
I cried because the story was so beautiful, and just because it touched like a spot, that writer in me that's like, I want to write books this powerful. So that one, I'm reading, confession, I've never read a Beth Moore book before, but I'm reading her new book, Chasing Vines, and it's also incredible. I'm like, why have I not been on the Beth Moore train before now? But it's really, really wonderful. And then I've just read some really fun books, like there's a new one, A Proper Charade by Esther Hatch. It was hilarious and romantic and wonderful. Oh, and I'm reading Amanda Barrett. I saw that you had her on a while back.
Yeah.
Her book, The White Rose Resists. I started it yesterday and I'm about halfway through now, and it's stunning. It's really stunning. So she is so talented for somebody so young. I mean, she's so talented in general, but also for somebody so young. So.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading it. I've got a long list of books to read once I manage to start with Me to Bed, and that's on the list. Though I'm having this big debate at the moment, because for books that I know are going to be amazing, I like to read them in like the proper book. Like I want to hold it. I want to turn the pages. But at the moment it is taking forever for books to get to New Zealand. So like a month, 6 weeks. So I'm like, am I willing to wait until possibly July to read it? Or am I going to compromise my desire to hold the book with my desire to actually read the book?
Are you a rereader at all? Like, do you reread books once you love them?
Sometimes. Yeah.
Because I do that. A lot of times when I cannot wait to read a book, I'll read the ebook. And then when I end up thinking it's the greatest thing ever, then I buy the paperback and reread it, because I'm the same. I like to have the book. And I even like to see it sitting on my shelf after I've read it, because like I've walked past my shelf that has Amanda Dykes' book from last year, Whose Waves These Are. And like, I'll just look at the spine and I'll be like, yes, that book was awesome.
And I loan heaps of books out to my friend, which friends, lots of friends. I kind of pimp. I'm a book pimp.
That's a good kind of
You
pimp
have
to
to
be.
read this. But I think my thing with rereading is I always feel a little bit guilty because my to be read pile is
Sure.
so big that I feel like I'm depriving like another author of reading their new, hard worked over book to
Yeah.
read a book I've already read again. So
Yep. That's a good point. Yep.
Um, anyway, thank you so much for your time today. We could probably
Welcome.
keep talking for ages, but I think my children are about to bust in any minute now. So
Yeah.
I am going to give away a copy of one of your books, and readers can choose which one they would like. So readers, I'll put a comment where I'll list all of Melissa's books, so you can know what you're choosing from. And Melissa is going to ask a question that you need to answer, which is
I thought really hard about this when you told me this was coming up. Since we spent a long time talking about Logan, I think I'm just going to ask people, who's your favorite hero? And it can be in anything, any book, any movie, any TV show. Who's your favorite fictional hero?
that is a great question. All right, everyone, who is your favorite fictional hero? Put a comment in, and then I will draw a winner on the weekend. Thanks so much, Melissa. It was so lovely talking to you again.
Yay. It's fun to see you.
Oh, I'll see you later.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.